Hello, hello, and welcome to Millennial Notebook. My name is Stella,
And my name is Emily.
and here we talk about living life as a millennial in the modern age.
Get comfy, grab your notebook, and let's enjoy the ride together.
Hi, Emily. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So good to hear your voice again.
Oh my god, yes.
So after a long work week, we are now going to start this podcast, and we're so excited. And this episode is all about telling you guys what we plan to do for this whole podcast and what we plan to talk about most of the time. So Emily, what are the topics that we were discussing that we wanted to be able to cover on here?
Great question. So, we're going to be talking about ourselves, obviously, our own experiences, being young adults, millennials in this world that we live in. Work life, mental health is really important to both of us, so we really want to talk about that.
That's true.
Dating, maybe not myself personally, but Stella loves to date.
Don't say it that way. It makes it sound like I'm just... Well, that's not to say that's a bad thing. Yes, I love to date and it's fun. All right, I'm going to just own that. Sure.
Own it. I'm the one in the long-term relationship here.
It's not always fun, but yeah, we'll talk a lot more about that on a later date. So I'm excited about that one. We'll also be talking about boys, of course, as I am very, very straight. Unfortunately, if I could date girls, I would. I wish. I really love girls, though. And we will talk about girls as well, as Emily and I both love girls, as we are girls, ladies.
Ladies.
Yeah.
The females.
Basically all of the good stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Same here. But before we go into that, as we'll go into the topics a little bit further in a different episode, let's focus a little bit more about us. So, where do we begin?
Well, Stella, tell me about yourself.
I get so uncomfortable talking about myself, but we'll be doing a little bit more of that here on the show. And so, let me start now. How about we start with our names? My name is Stella.
Well, my name is Emily.
Okay,
obviously.
We are very awkward. All right. And so I am currently living in Japan, but I grew up in the Philippines. And I first met Emily, my co-host, in Japan, in Tokyo, through a seminar. What was a seminar about, Emily?
It was a freelancing visa seminar, I think I remember. It was how to get the freelance visa. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Was it about that? Wasn't it about just doing... Oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I thought it was about doing our own business, but I think that came a little bit later, right?
It was kind of also mixed into that because to get the freelance visa, obviously you had to... Well, obviously you're freelancing, you kind of own your own business, right?
Yeah.
You run your own business of sorts.
Yeah.
So it was mixed into that, but it really was how this person had gone through the journey and how they got the freelance visa and how you can do the same thing. And it was perfect timing because I'd been there not even a month, and that's exactly what I came to Japan to do.
Right. And as for me, rather than freelancing, I've always had a dream of making my own business. So I thought, to be able to stay here and do that particular dream, I needed to know the details. And so I went and I found this beautiful lady over here. And it's a funny story, actually, how Emily and I met, because so she had pink hair at the time. And she still does have pink hair now, but she likes to vary the color once in a while. I'm always brown. I was black haired for once, but I got sick of that, so I went back to brown. But
so much change.
I know. Kidding. But yeah, I saw her in her bright pastel pink hair, and I was just like, oh. And as an introvert, and yes, I am an introvert, and we'll be talking about this in our next episode. Really excited about that. But as an introvert, it really, it took a lot of energy and courage for me to just put myself into that situation, meeting a lot of new people. But Emily was my first target. I always look for targets. So what I mean by target is, someone to decidedly talk to, so I don't look too awkward in the scene. And so I spotted her, and that was it. I'll have Emily talk a little bit more about that later on her side of the experience, but that's how we met.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that's that. And as for work, I work as a director at a media company.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it has its fun side and tough side as well, but yeah, let's not talk about that right now. But what I do want to talk about is what I do for fun and my hobbies. I love to read. I've been getting into reading again. And I like to talk to my friends for fun, and which is why I decided to start this with Emily. What else? I like to climb mountains and
mental and physical.
oh yeah.
Literally, metaphorically, is that more?
Yeah. Yes. You are right on the dot there. Both for that. And what else have I been doing recently? I've been boxing just to relieve stress, but I've been so...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's been fun. Exercise is really important for mental health, not just for physical health, so I'm trying to get into that. Yeah, and then the last one, dreams for the future. Well, I eventually want to, as I've mentioned a while ago, I want to start my own business. But I want to be as prepared as possible. I'm a type A personality, and so I want as much information as I can before I start. And I know you can just literally just jump in. Some people have done that and have been very successful. Some of the people I respect the most have done so. But I think I'm a very different personality. I think I need to be reassured. And who better to do that but myself with preparation. And so here I am preparing.
With me.
Yes.
With the help of me and the internet. Isn't it great?
I know all our friends here in the show. So I hope you enjoy that journey with me. How about you, Emily? Tell me more about you.
Well, I come from the Pacific myself. I'm from New Zealand, as you may tell from the beautiful accent that I have.
Yes.
I grew up in this tiny little town called Invercargill. Well, it's not tiny. It's like, 50,000 people?
Okay.
Right at the bottom of New Zealand. Our local beach, it's like Antarctic waters, so it's freezing cold. You get some great white sharks. It's not really a swimming beach, but is a really good sand dune beach. And it's one of the only beaches in New Zealand that you can drive on. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where I grew up. I have lots of siblings. I have split parents. That obviously comes with own dramas and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of my upbringing. And then I moved to this place called Christchurch, which I'm currently in at the moment, and have lived here for the last 8 years, I think it is. I got here in 2013, so someone else do the math for me there.
I actually never told you this, but I do have a bunch of people I met a long time ago who live there. But I'm much closer to you. Maybe that's why I never really thought to mention it. They're more of acquaintances, really. But there is definitely added reason for me to visit then.
Yes,
so really excited
course.
About that one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. How about, tell me about your experience of meeting...
you?
Yeah.
Wow.
How we met and what was that for you? What was the Emily perspective in the story?
So my perspective, I was telling my hairdresser about this because this is when we were having a conversation about this sort of about the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I have to tell you my friend. So yes, it was a freelance visa workshop, seminar, whatever it was. And it was amazing. And it was this really... I think it was bucketing down with rain. It was in one of those places.
Raining?
It's I think it was. I think it was pretty rainy that day.
Okay.
But it was in one of those, side streets, these buildings. Tokyo is a maze sometimes, especially when you go off the main streets.
That is true.
And found this little building, got in, sat down, as you do. And I don't think we actually talked until the end of the talk. There wasn't really a lot of talking time. It was towards the end we started like mingling and stuff.
Yeah,
And,
no, you know the funny thing about that, it was like,
Yeah?
I thought you didn't want to talk to me because I went in for the kill, right? Like I was just like, okay, I think this girl looks nice, and then I just zoom in and I'm like, hi, and then like I wanted to sit next to you as much as possible because I'm shy, and you were like, oh yeah, and then you were just chill, right? It was just like, oh no, does she not want to talk to me? Is what I thought.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was probably so this is my perspective. I was probably so in my head about the whole thing because
Yeah.
I hate going to these things. You don't know anyone. I just moved to Tokyo, so like I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
I was full of excitement and like, oh my god. But yeah, I tend to go into those things like really like I just don't talk a lot. I just don't say anything. And I think it comes off as like I don't care. I'm just like, but I'm literally like, cool. So I guess I'll sit here.
Awesome.
And so I didn't really think much about it. But then I just remember at the end you were like, I don't know, you said, let's go grab something to eat. So we sat and we went to a Denny's, which was down the road.
Oh, now I just remembered that.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time. And then we
I
just
know.
poured our life stories.
I
to
know,
each
it was
other.
great. We just talked for 3 to 4 hours non-stop.
That
and
is
I was like, this
right.
girl is so cool. So the funny thing is, I actually have this in my notes. You're so the opposite of me because when I met you, you were so like bubbly and talkative and like very honest and stuff.
I think you're all of those things too.
I am, but I present it differently.
Ah.
We just present. I think we present these things differently.
That is
when
a
I
good point.
when I like talked to you and saw you, I was like, you're so opposite to me. You're everything I want to be. You're so driven. You're so passionate about so many different things. And obviously we're both going for the freelance visa, so we have, you know, similar values and like similar dreams. So yeah, it was just, yeah, it was, man, that was an experience. And that was the best. And then I don't know how many times, we only met like 3 or 4 times. No, probably more like 5 times actually.
Yeah, like we met a lot because I think like well, aside from the fact that we really hit it off from the get-go, like we wanted to explore so many things together while you were still in Japan, because I recall you were only here for a very short period of time. Like how long was
I
your
was
stay?
only 9 months. Yeah. I was supposed to be 12 months, but it, well, drama.
yeah.
No, it really wasn't that. But
we will definitely talk about that in a different episode, like
Yes,
staying in
we'll-
Japan and all of
Yeah.
that. So yeah, okay, yeah. Like and from like even from there, you know how they say it's hard to keep up long distance relationships, whether it's with a friend or with a romantic partner. But you know, as long as you like each other and you make the time, I think it's possible. I think that's one of the most important things, is to make time for each other, right? And we did that, and and so here we are.
I mean, since I've been home, we've maybe chatted a few times
Yeah.
only, but
That's
I think it's nice because we have a really good catch up and there's so much
Yeah.
to talk about. And like, that's my kind of thing, is like, I go about my day and I just do my thing. And, you know, you have people that you see every day and some people you only see every month. But like, when I chat to you, it's like, oh my God, I have so much to tell you.
I know. And it's so much fun every single conversation.
Yeah.
So, and now you'll be hearing more about that from us. You'll be a part of our conversations now. So,
our monthly catch-ups.
hopefully we don't bore you.
No.
Yeah. How about tell me more about what you do for work and for
So,
hobbies.
These days, so I'm a trained graphic designer. That's what I've always done. It's always
Nice.
what I wanted to do. But currently I'm working as a web and app designer, so like a UI designer for an agency here in
That is
Christchurch.
so cool.
And it's a pretty good job. It's not the best job I've ever had, but it's a really good job and I'm very lucky to have it. And yeah, it keeps me pretty busy. And then aside from that, obviously, I do some freelancing on the side, and one of the biggest projects I'm working on at the moment is a cosplay convention, which is
That's awesome.
just showing my nerdiness. But,
like if you
yeah.
if you ever if you're interested in that, you should give that page a follow. We will link it down in the show notes.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
please follow and support our co-host Emily with that if you're interested in cosplay.
Oh yeah, like if
Yeah.
you know, if we reach the international audience, and when the borders open, hopefully one day, we'll never know. That would be so cool to have people from across the world to join us. But
Awesome.
I just make the whole thing look pretty on the inside and outside, all the marketing. It's like, it's a big job, but I work with some really awesome friends, and we do cool stuff there. So that's me for work. Hobbies, I do figure skating. I love making stuff. Anything with my hands. I like to sew. I like to craft. I like painting. I like drawing. I can make anything. That's just if I want to make it, I make it, and I just learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's me really much. Dreams. Dreams is on the list.
Yeah.
Dreams of the future. I don't know. I think at the moment, post Christmas, everyone starts to think, oh, my wallet's looking a bit thin. So, financial freedom is always on the list. Happiness. And just, I guess having a job that's meaningful and working towards things that benefit other people. I really like teaching. I like talking. So a podcast is great.
Yeah. That's the thing. You know how Emily touched upon a while ago how she perceived us as being very different, and I disagreed, right? And I think this is where it touches to the core of that, where our foundations are the same. We have very similar values and personality traits, but where we express ourselves, that's where it starts to differ. So, for example, Emily likes to create and splash color into everything. She is definitely the more artistic person in this relationship. Whereas I am a little bit more, how do you say this? Like, I am a little bit more analytical. I like things organized. I like things monochrome, or I don't know, like if you see my room, it's only made up of like maximum 4 colors, which sounds really boring, but I like it that way. I don't know, man, but I enjoy that. And if you see any of Emily's stuff, it's like a burst of every single color on the pastel palette.
Which is weird because I'm not a rainbow person. Like, realistically, I don't like rainbows.
Are you serious?
I'm a 3-color person. It's pink, yellow, or blue, and that's it.
What about your teals? You have teals.
Teal is my favorite color. I'm not gonna lie.
But you excluded that color right now in those 3 categories.
Well, blue's kind of teal.
Okay.
Right? It's like Isn't a bluey
green-ish
No,
blue?
Teal is not green. It's blue. I will fight to the death.
Okay.
I hate green. Green is not my color, but teal, yes. Teal.
All right. Okay. I will accept that. Yeah. So on that note, like, it's just, I think you'll see a little bit more of that in the episodes to come, but Emily and I express ourselves very differently, and it shows in very different ways. And for example, in work, right? I am more of the organizer of things. Like, I like to organize and make sure that the plan is followed. That's what I do mostly for work, the boring stuff, really. And Emily is just, she has to spread her wings, and I think that's how and I think that's how it's gonna work out here in this podcast as well, where that's how our teamwork works. Like, I will do all the boring stuff. I told her, let me do the boring stuff, please, and you do all of the things that I hate.
Yeah, it was a sigh of relief. I'm like, I hate organizational stuff. Like, I like being organized. I like a plan, but when it comes to following through the plan, I like to derail it really quickly. I'm like, but I get really excited about this, and what about this?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm the more spontaneous one of the two of us.
But it works out, especially like,
it works.
Yeah. And I don't know, we're having a lot of fun so far. So we're hoping that you will stay for the whole journey, and we'll try our best to make these episodes as entertaining as possible.
Yes. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So before we wrap up the first episode, like, tell us a little bit more about what episode 2 will be about, Emily.
Oh, well. When I saw the notes, I got so excited. We're talking about meeting people as an introvert because, as we just discussed, the two of us are both introverts. We've done our fair share of events, meeting people, especially having moved to different countries or lived in different countries. It's a big thing to try and like, you got to get out of your bubble. You've got to meet people. Otherwise, you don't make awesome friendships like ours. So, we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into different types of introverts. We're going to talk about the extrovert, I don't know how many people in the world are extroverts, but certainly not me. And I guess we'll have a good discussion about that, which is going to be exciting.
Yeah, and the reason in particular that we decided to make this episode too is, aside from the points that Emily said, we are two introverts starting a podcast, and what better way to honor this part of ourselves by talking about it and how we overcame the shyness that we may tend to feel at times. And I think even though we're not showing our faces because it's a podcast, and to some level we do prepare, which, in no degree is it similar to a real life situation where you just throw yourself in there. But we hope that the techniques we've used so far will help any introvert out there who's looking to be a little bit more extroverted, or just just put themselves out there a little bit more, because it really is a daunting experience at first. So we'll tell you a little bit more about our anecdotes and stories, and we have so many of that, and maybe some of our embarrassing moments.
More of those.
We have a lot of those. So we'll be sharing all of those so that you don't feel like you're alone when you throw yourself in there with the sharks. Okay, no, not the sharks. I have a lot of really good experiences as well, but you know what I'm talking about. The image of the whole experience seems too big sometimes, and so we perceive it as much worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that, and we hope you stay tuned for that episode. We are very open to other topics that you'd like to hear about, but we do have a bunch prepared for you already. But let us know by giving us a review. It's only one episode for now. I don't know if you're backtracking from a future episode and listening to us right now, but we are very open to new episode ideas. So just leave a review and let us know what you want to hear. And if you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. Wink, wink.
Please.
We're begging you. Kidding. We will work for it.
We'll make you love us.
Yes, be prepared. Have you prepared the potions, Emily? I have.
They're everywhere.
Okay.
I've already
put
a virus on the computer.
Okay. Oh my goodness! Don't say that. She's joking, people. You cannot send viruses on podcasts, just so you know. And we are legitimate.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you so much for staying and listening to us for about 20 minutes already. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Yes, excited to see you. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.